This video and all other videos on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. The content of this video and all other videos on this channel are the opinions of the creator only and do not constitute legal, trading, investment, or financial advice of any kind. Investing carries a high level of risk and the majority of retail clients lose money. Do not invest any capital unless you understand the risks and you are prepared to lose it all. Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel and today is a very special day. Today, of course, we woke up to six-figure Bitcoin. Congratulations to all of the holders. I think this is a historic moment once more. I've lived through quite a few historic moments for Bitcoin and here we go again, okay? Six-figure Bitcoin, happy days. So far, so good, right? The yellow squiggle doing yellow squiggle things. All of this has been expected and anticipated for some time. And largely speaking, I'm going to attribute this to, once again, the purple tie from PAL. Now, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, perhaps someone in the comments will be kind enough to fill you in. But all we need to know, okay, is the tie was indeed purple. So I have no idea what he said. But again, his words don't mean half as much as his tie. There's a big narrative building at the moment that I'm noticing, which is probably going to drive this break through the much higher numbers for Bitcoin. And that is indeed the whole strategic reserve idea is building massive amounts of momentum. We're seeing the US in talks of building a strategic Bitcoin reserve. We are seeing Brazil also looking to emulate this. Of course, we've already got the strategic reserve and legal tender in places like El Salvador. And as of today, Vancouver are putting forth a motion to add Bitcoin to the balance sheet for Vancouver City. Not only that, Pennsylvania are looking to allocate 10% of its 7 billion reserves to buy Bitcoin if this Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act is passed. And Florida is also going to launch a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which would include leveraging some of their $185 billion pension fund, which is the fourth largest in the US, by the way, to allocate a small percentage to Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation and use their budget surplus to responsibly invest in Bitcoin without cutting essential services. I believe this is going to be the narrative that drives us all the way to the silly numbers. I'm still very much in agreement with Gert here that we are going to see an enormous upside push, and notice that the top is likely going to come much sooner than most people are anticipating. I continue to make the case that I would love nothing more than to see this bull market extend well into 2025, perhaps top around October of next year. That just makes my life so much easier as somebody that is aiming to sell the top. There's no easier trade. I could do it without even looking at the charts. Once we get into October, I know full well from a 4-year cycle perspective, I can take a huge chunk out without looking at the price, without caring what the chart is doing, because that 4-year cycle low will be coming into focus. So nobody wants an extended bull market into October of 2025 more than me, but this remains my base case. Okay, I still think we are going to get an enormous upside squeeze. I think we're going to forward price, because that's what markets do, remember. They forward price everything. I think we're going to forward price all of this narrative, all of this strategic Bitcoin reserve, all of the game theory and everything you could possibly think of. I believe Bitcoin is going to price ahead of schedule. I believe it's going to attempt to price it months and months in advance so that whilst all of this stuff continues, it has already forward priced all of this data, and thus it can have this big extended bear market decline whilst everything else continues to fall into place. A lot of people seem to think that just because this kind of stuff is happening under the hood, we couldn't see a downtrend for Bitcoin, but I still make the case that so long as we can squeeze up to a high enough number to forward price all of this stuff, then this absolutely remains on the table. For a long time, people said this kind of idea of a huge parabolic blow off top to ridiculously high numbers in a very short space of time was unreasonable, but I still think this is the most likely outcome. Again, I would love nothing more than to see this cycle extend for a year. It would make my life so much easier. I know I would make a lot more money, frankly, if this thing is going to continue to October. But as it stands right now, I just don't see it. And of course, if this thing continues to move up, then how else do we interpret it other than this is the base case? As Gert points out here as well, okay, Bitcoin is nearly 7x'd since bottoming out at 15.4K. He and I both anticipate this direction to continue, similar to what occurred at $10, $100, and 10K. As the time window before the recession has now narrowed within 3 months, a move to 220 to 320K represents only about a 2 to 3x increase from here. And again, I look at this and just think this makes the most amount of sense to me. So we'll stay open to all possible outcomes. We'll stay long and strong until I have technical reason not to. As we move towards the top of these parabolas, okay, moves can get extremely violent and most people are just simply incapable of perceiving the type of moves that can unfold merely because they haven't traded through many parabolic blow-off tops such as the one we possibly are looking at right now. And I know it has become a cardinal sin to talk about a recession in the not too distant future, right? I know this has become like blasphemy to say deterioration under the hood continuing to get worse. I know it has become a point of contention for many investors. But the reality is we are seeing this kind of thing unfold right before our eyes, okay? This is reverse repo. Now, if you're newer to this space, frankly, I don't care. This is for the Camel Crew that have been here a long time and understand markets, okay? This is the reverse repo. being drained. What does this mean? It means we are likely close to this thing being drained by about the time we've seen the next rate cut, which, by the way, is the 18th of December. Does it mean they have to top this back up? Does it mean that they stop QT, tapering the balance sheet? None of this is well understood at this current moment in time. We're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. By the time we've seen this rate cut in December, and by the time this thing is fully drained, it tells us one thing with certainty, and that is markets and liquidity become much more fragile, okay? It's much easier for things to go bang because they will be in a much more fragile state. Now, when we pull up the rate cuts, okay, again, Camel Crew remains on top of this rate cut repricing. Now 75% probability. As expected, this is going to continue to climb. We are going to continue to put a 25 basis point cut on the table for the 18th of December. We've known that well ahead of time. Why? Because we've been, once more, telling that to the bond market. Let's check the 2-year yield. Again, once more, telling that to the bond market. And all of this occurring against the backdrop of the Dixie about to find a cycle low any day now. So I know everyone wants easy mode. I know everyone wants this bull market to run for a full year. I know everyone likes to think that their altcoins have got plenty of time to eclipse their prior all-time highs. But the reality is, okay, I still make the case that this is the most likely outcome, that all of this is going to be over in a flash. The signs are there for the people that understand markets. The stock market is working its way up into a third and final blow off top angle that has been extended for many, many, many weeks now. And all of this is about to occur with another panic rate cut because the Fed remains behind the curve. So yes, it's very, very exciting. Yes, there's probably an awful lot of money to be made in the coming weeks, perhaps even the few months. But the reality is, if one knows where to look, okay, things continue to get more and more fragile, things continue to get more and more fickle. And as always with markets, the majority will end up round tripping their entire bag, will end up not making any money, holding on for dear life, buying into the narrative of strategic Bitcoin reserve, and being left wondering how this thing has spent more time than we've ever seen before in a bear market against a backdrop of everyone thinking that happy days, long and strong, banana zone, okay, whatever the narrative is. So a monumental moment for markets. We are here looking for this third angle to complete in the not too distant future in the stock market. Gold is just about to give us that declining phase into the weekly cycle low. Bitcoin is comfortably trading above $100,000, okay, and I expect this thing to continue to rip to the upside. I'm going to start to look at setting third and final blow off top angles for Bitcoin soon, and we're going to be doing some hyperwave stuff later in the week. And again, if you know where to look, the Dixie and the yields are letting us know that the risk is very much present. So what an absolutely wild time to be alive. I'm your boy Camel. I hope you're doing well in life. If you're a level 3 member, look out for the members positions because we're going to be adding some of those today. Other than that, I hope you're doing well in life. Take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.
Camel Finance, he's the man to see, rocking the markets with his contrarian spree. Trades like a pro, no fear, no shame, sticking to his guns in his money game. He's a badass, oh yes indeed. Camel Finance got the markets key, taking us normies on a